Okay, well, it was supposed to be horizontal, damn it. I know I changed the shit. So, that means I need to... There is a way to change this, Shit, sorry, neighbors. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. There we go, that'll have to work. Oh shit, and the camera view is wrong too. It's the wrong side. Damn it. Okay, get set up here. Well, shit, you neighbors like my dirty face right in your face. Okay, Braden, this is for you, neighbor. It's early in the morning, and I don't anticipate we'll get anybody else, really. So, neighbor, what we're going to do is I'm going to sit down and I'm going to tell you a story about your name. Okay? And why your name caused me to have a very difficult time working last night on your saw. Okay? Thinking about what your name is. Okay, well, hey, neighbor, and any other neighbors that see this in the future or actually happen to join at 6:30 in the morning, welcome to the Shed Shop Outdoor Edition, this live event of Will It Be Redeemed? I have on my grass bench a steel MS192T. It's trying to be a 193. It's really a 192T motor, which is better in my opinion. More horsepower. Anyways, and this is for a neighbor, Braden, and he messaged me on Facebook yesterday asking if I had any top handle saws ready, and I explained to him I did not, and what I had almost ready and what I could build. And a lot of times when I tell people if they want me to build a saw for them that they have to put a deposit, that's typically the end of the conversation. Braden did not put a deposit on this saw, and normally I don't work all night without a deposit because I've been burned too many times rushing to build somebody a saw, and they say they need it, and then they don't show up. And so I waste my time. Last night, we did a live event where we tore down the 3 top handle saws we had. We had a partial MS194. We had a partial MS193 with some broken parts, and, well, really, it was pretty much full saw. And then the 192 full saw with some broken parts. We only had 1 carburetor, and it wasn't the right carburetor because we had 2 top handles, but one is broken to a point that it's fixable. However, Braden doesn't want anything that's redneck together because he's young and he's just starting out climbing trees, and so he needs something that he can rely on. Braden didn't give a deposit, and I worked on his saw, your saw, all night, neighbor. And I have a son named Braden, and he's just a couple years younger than you. Uh, his mom and I separated when he was 3 years old, 3.5 years old. And for 2 years, I fought to get my day in court. The courts were really slow with the process, and through that 2 years, I paid my wife a lot of oxycodone and a lot of cash to spend time with my son. And sadly, most of the times that I got to spend time with him, it was arguing with her because she wouldn't leave and let us spend time alone together. There was nothing I could do because of the courts. And when I finally did get my day in court, because she told a bunch of lies that I beat her and I beat my son, and I was a drug addict, which at the time I wasn't a drug addict. I'm 3.5 years sober, and I became a drug addict after these events and during these events. And a large part of that was because if everybody's going to label me a drug addict, fuck it, I might as well be a drug addict. But nonetheless, I had to go through all kinds of supervised visits with my son. I went through supervised visits with DHS, with Child Protective Services, with a lady named Bette Hoxie, who was the founder and CEO. She ran a place called Adoptive and Foster Families of Maine, and this was in Maine. And I did supervised visits with her. I did supervised visits with my counselor, with my caseworker, and with Braden's counselor, and with the guardian ad litem appointed by the court. And all their notes were very, very positive, saying I did not need any supervised visits. Well, I made my son's baby book, and it has places for both parents to write in it. And my wife never wrote a fucking thing in it. And when we finally had our actual court hearing to determine custody and property division, The first half was discussing property, and basically I told the judge all I wanted was my son's baby book and the puzzles and activities that we had done together, and that was it. And so it's kind of funny, the judge ordered her to make me a copy of a baby book. I don't know how you copy his strands of hair from the first time I cut his hair. I don't know how you do that. But I never even got that. And then, so halfway through the court hearing, we take lunch, and the second half is going to be discussing custody. Well, I turned my phone on, and I had like 39 missed calls from various family members. And so I tried getting a hold of my dad and my brother and my sisters, and nobody answered the phone. So I called my stepmom. She was still married to my adoption dad at the time. That's a whole long story about my adoption. We won't go there right now. But I called my stepmom, and I thought one of my siblings might have died or something, or got real sick, or run over by a car, or in an accident or something, because I have a lot of siblings. And so I asked my stepmom, I said, which one of the kids is hurt? And she said, Matthew, it's not the kids. This is something you need to hear from your dad. And I said, Rebecca, I can't get a hold of him, and I've got to go back to court soon. Just tell me what's wrong. She said 2 words. She's gone. My adoption mother and my best friend, my drug addict mom, my whore mom, was brutally murdered by her boyfriend. And so I had to go back to court and get on the stand 15 minutes after I found that out. And the judge asked, did I want a continuance? And I said, no, I've waited 2 years. And so basically, Judge Endy was the judge, and the custody was, now she had been fined and put in jail several times for not letting me see my son during that 2 years, not following the custody order. And there's a lot more details to it, but to keep it short for now, I received 49% custody, and she received 51% custody. And basically what they do is she's what's considered the primary resident parent. And so we literally had 50-50 time. I was to get the same amount of time with him as she was, and also additional phone calls. She never followed the custody order. And basically the way Judge Endy wrote the order was that if she did not allow me the amount of time in a week that I was supposed to get, that the next time my son was with me, I could keep him to make up for all that time. And for like 6 months, she wasn't giving me the time that I was appointed, but I still would take my son back to the police station and drop him off with her. My uncle is home. And finally, it was Halloween, and I told her I wanted to split Halloween so I could take my son trick-or-treating, and she said no. However, again, this court order said that I could keep my son during the weekend like I was supposed to be able to during the appointed time, and so I did. We ended up going in front of another judge when I filed my motion for contempt because she wasn't letting me see him. I took my son Sunday evening at 6 p.m. to the police station to drop him off with her like I was supposed to. She never showed up. I waited for 2.5 or 3 hours. She never showed up. I asked the dispatcher to call her. I also asked for a FOIA to get the camera footage. They told me a judge would have to subpoena it. So I go to court for my motion for contempt against her, and this Judge Gunther, which I call her Judge Gunther, she finally picked my son up on Monday instead of Sunday. And this Judge Gunther says, why did you keep your son an extra day? And I tried to tell her, I asked her to subpoena the video surveillance from the police station to show that I was there. I showed her my phone calls that I tried calling Natasha like 30 times. And she basically said, you have no right to keep your son until Monday. And she changed the custody order to where I was allowed to have 2 supervised visits per week at a professional facility that I had to pay for. Well, the problem was that literally was not possible because there was only 2 places you could get supervised visits, with CPS or with a place called FACT. And with CPS, they have to be involved, and there has to be an open case with them in order for them to allow supervised visits. They have to be essentially ordered by the court, but these weren't ordered by the court in that way, and CPS was not involved at that time, and so I couldn't get supervised visits that way. In fact, with fact, it had to be a court order to be specifically there, and it had to be paid for by the court. And so I fought to get back in court and everything, and that was the last time I saw my son. And that was 11 years ago, Braden. And so your name all night, knowing that I'm building a saw for a young man named Braden, that's just a couple years older than my kid that I haven't seen in 11 years, has stirred up a lot of emotion that I've been able to stuff down real deep. It took me a long time. That's why I was on drugs for a decade, because I couldn't handle the pain of not being a father. And eventually I kind of just gave up because I couldn't fight the courts anymore. I couldn't keep spending thousands of dollars. And no matter what I did, even when there's a court order for me to be able to see my son, I can't. And so basically, there's two orders right now. I still have 49% custody. And then there's the supervised visits order. And it makes no sense because of the supervised visits order, my 49% custody agreement cannot be, I can't take advantage of that. And so it's been a real emotional night, neighbor. A real emotional night. And I'm really hoping this all starts. But for any other neighbors that might be here now or watch this in the future, I can't see the comments or the count or anything. I don't have my other phone on me. I told Braden if this all doesn't start and doesn't run right and cut right, he's got a job he's got to do, and he's a young man trying to get after it and get his hustle on, and I respect the shit out of that. And so basically, he wanted a different motor, and it's a real long story. We're going in the shop before we try and start the saw. I'm going to show you guys the chaos of the night and explain a couple of things, and then we'll try to start this saw. But I told Braden if the saw doesn't run, that he can take my personal 192T as long as he pays the price we agreed on this saw, which is $100,000,359,076 and 1 wheat penny. And I don't let anybody touch my personal saw. My 192 is my baby. Okay, I actually had to rob some parts off of it to complete this saw, and I'll have to reorder those parts for my saw. But if this one doesn't work, we'll put them back on my saw, and my 192 runs flawless. It's got a ported muffler. I did some very, very minor porting on the cylinder. And so, yeah, I did the, on this saw for Braden, we ported the muffler. Basically, I opened up the main baffle. And no fret, neighbor, I have another clutch cover. We'll talk about that when you come. Because I know the other side of the saw is a lot prettier than this side. That's why I didn't send you a picture yet. But I opened up the main port on this, and I removed a large portion of the baffle. I didn't have time to split the muffler and take the whole baffle out, so that's why I did the baffle the way I did. So that will give you some extra horsepower, some good airflow, okay? And yeah, we'll go from there. So, but for now, we're gonna go inside the shed shop, and I'll see if there's any comments and respond to them if I can. And I'll show you the chaos. And then we'll come out here, and Braden can share my emotion with me. I'm going to either be super excited or super let down. We'll see what happens. I don't see any reason this saw shouldn't start, but I have bad luck. And so I have no idea what will ever go on. Who's asking where I'm located? Let me see. I can't see. Oh, John, I'm in Tennessee. Okay, Braden, I'm here, Slumped. He's a cute dog. She, Slumped, she's a cute dog, and thank you. That's Fatty Bunting's doggo. Well, that's mentality. I don't know what you're talking about the mentality, neighbor, but I'm just trying to tell a story. Have you ever heard of murder drones? That's a random comment. What is this? Ruben, this is the most honest, raw, real YouTube channel that you will ever stumble across that has all kinds of venting. You can call it venting. He can't see the chat right now. Okay, by the way, I meant the mentality of doing drugs after being accused of it. Oh, no, I know. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I know, Calisthenics Destroyer. Yeah, you're right. It wasn't. But I'm 3.5 years sober. I never thought about taking the baffle out. Good idea. I'm in Missouri. John, yeah, pretty much any muffler taking the baffle out is going to help you. But you just have to be careful on certain mufflers. Taking the baffle out can cause too much airflow going out, and if you don't increase the airflow going in, then you could have troubles. Okay, can end up getting actually pressure pushing air back into your cylinder. So anyways, let's go inside real quick. Hey, neighbors that are new here, welcome. Shit, here's all kinds of different parts, Braden. We disconnected there for a minute. Here's the chaos on the bench. Here's the one we were originally doing for you. But because of the difference, to see that how small that hole is, neighbor, I'm going to show you the two mufflers when you get here, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Here's the original one we were going to do. We put a camera in this on a live event last night, but unfortunately it does have a pinhole leak right here, and because there are differences in where our impulse hose comes in and our carburetor set up back here, I couldn't use the other handle on this saw, and this one, as you can see, is broken. Could be red-necked. Braden doesn't want a red-necked handle, and he needs this saw today, so we can't wait for a new handle to come in. And then over here, I literally stopped what I was doing last night, which was washing and tearing down all these 1123s to sell parts and build some MS250s and 025s. This is the stuff I had in my parts washer, Braden. Okay, so I got most of it cleaned up. I had to do all of that and all of this before I could wash your saw, because it all had to be out of the way. Here's the other parts we washed of some of the saws we torn down. Here's the partial we tore down that we didn't wash all the way. Here's my ultrasonic with more filthy water, neighbor. That's just from those 3 top handle saws and that stuff. That's how filthy it got. So anyways, all of that being said, shall we go out and see if Braden's saw starts? Braden, you still here, neighbor? Shoot me a comment and say you're still here. This video's for you, neighbor. Okay. Is Braden still here, neighbor? All right, excellent. Sorry, I'm gonna go grab my other phone. I think it's in here. Woo, shit, I'm tired, neighbors. I gotta make coffee. See, this is the air filter I had in my saw, but I gave you a cloth one. This is a good filter. I use this because I know I'll routinely clean my air filter, and this doesn't catch as many fines, but because I clean it a lot, this allows more airflow than the cloth filter. It allows more airflow than this type of filter, okay? So here's our mess. Where's our other phone? Let's see, right here it is. Okay. Here's my MS191 neighbors that I put together, and it has an air leak just in the same spot like Braden's motor did. Here's my 462 neighbors that I paid way too much money for, and just the 2 handles it needs are like $600 total. Here's my carburetor station neighbors. Okay. Here's my shed shop, Braden, that you're going to see today. It's a mess right now. Here's a bunch of saws I'm just waiting on air filters or little stuff for. A couple of them are ready for sale. We've got a, let's see, what's ready for sale? We got a 64cc 20-inch MS390 with a super lightweight 0.325 bar and chain. We've got an 028. I just have to change. I have a better air filter cover for that. We've got an 028 with a 20-inch Forester Pro Series bar and chain. We've got an 026, and most people want a 20-inch. I think that saw does better with an 18, but most people want a 20. So we've got an 026 ready. Here's my 034 that's done. It just needs an air filter, which should be here hopefully within the next week. Here's my cheap saws, just waiting on air filter. Here's my cheap saw, just waiting on air filter. Here's my cheap saw. I want to clean up the bar and make it look pretty. Here's my cheap saw that I'm waiting on parts. Here's my cheap saw that I'm waiting on crankshaft seals. Well, that's not a cheap saw, sorry. This is my 036. All we need is crankshaft seals for that. And, yeah, we got a cheap home light. Just waiting on an air filter for that. That Poulan, I've got to do a full tune-up on that. Now, my saws like this, I don't tear them all the way down. My steels, I tear... oh, neighbor, that's not even the half of it. We got more over here. We got more over here. All of those... That's all saws, 1127 series saws. That's all saws. That's all 017, MS170, 018, and MS180, both those bins. I've got about 6 McCulloch top handles back there, 2 Husqvarnas in that box. That's a McCulloch top handle. This is two 026s. This is an 044 and about a half of another 044. We got an MS170. Oh, sneak peek. That's going to be the next giveaway, chainsaw neighbors. So anybody that's new here, I give shit away, and we're going to be giving that saw away soon, okay? Below that is a 201T. I'm waiting on piston rings for that because I broke one of my fucking rings on my brand new Meteor cylinder. 311s and 391s. There's one full saw in there and about a half. I need a wrap handle for it. I got enough to build another 1.5 or two 271s. I've got an 038 down there that's partial. I've got this 025 that I've got enough parts to build the whole saw for it. This is a whole MS250 that's ready to be built. That's an 038 super partial. I'm trying to decide whether I should part it out or buy the parts to build it. This blower I've got to build, and that's about 15 fucking 028s. Got all that shit down there. Got all these saws down here, and there's a bunch of saw parts in those bins and shit. Yeah, neighbor, we got saws. You want to buy one? Yes, I sell saws, neighbor. That is what I do. Okay, here you go. Here's my hobby business, neighbors. Here's me. Here's my phone number. And yes, that's actually my cell phone number. Here's my email. Here's where we are right now. Here's some of the shit I do. And here's my address. Please don't come shoot up my house. There you go. A steel is a good saw. Love them. MS170 is a good little saw. So you use mine a ton. It's lightweight and does the job. Yeah, John, I am honestly not a big fan of the MS170s. I like the 180s better. Even though they're only 2 more cc, they just do way better than the 170s. And I guess part of the reason I'm not a big fan of the... I don't think I'm cleaning any more parts today, so we'll turn that off. I guess one of the reasons I'm not a big fan of the MS170s also is because I can get over $200 for an MS180 rebuilt. The MS170s, I can only top out at like $165 on those. And so I can't really make money on them. And when I take them on trade, and I only give like 20-25 bucks, even if they run. If they're really pretty and low hours, sometimes I'll give like 50, but that's pretty much as high as I go because I still got to tear them down all the way and go through them to be able to put my name on them and to be able to confidently and honestly say that they are fully refurbished because we got to check ring gap and all that shit. Okay, neighbors, Braden, you ready? All right. Everybody say hope and a prayer, send positive vibes this way, whatever, however, and let's hope this all starts. And in case you couldn't read the card, you can always screenshot it. And my email is very easy. It's smallengineredemption@gmail.com if you want to email me. And then my cell phone number is 346-263-1077. We have all kinds of saws. My Poulans and stuff that you saw on the wall, those are not rebuilt. They're only serviced. All I do is service those saws and make sure they cut good, tune them up, and sell them with a 30-day warranty, not a 90-day warranty. My standard warranty on my steels and most of my Husqvarnas, because some of the Husqvarnas I only service as well. I don't fully tear them down because they are lower priced than the steels, so it's a lot harder to make money. My standard warranty is what's a 90-day labor warranty and a 1-year parts warranty. And what that is in the first 90 days, if anything goes wrong with your saw that's not your fault, I fix it completely free, parts and labor. After the 90 days, if any of the parts that have been replaced have any issues or defect, I'll replace the part for free and you just pay labor. And if it's something simple that you can do yourself, oftentimes I can, because you know I sell saws all over the country, and so oftentimes I can ship the part to the neighbor. Like Braden is an hour and a half away. My neighbor Eric, I've sold him a couple saws and worked on a lot of his shit. I just did his 170 for him. That's kind of sentimental to him, and because he's an hour and a half away and has 2 kids and a wife and a full-time job, he didn't have time to come get his saw. So sometimes I deliver saws or I'll ship them. I shipped his saw back to him. So with the parts, after the 90 days, what I do is sometimes I'll ship the part to the neighbor, or they can pick up the part if they want, and they can do it themselves so they don't have to pay labor. If it's something more in-depth, depending on the person, how well I know them, how well they take care of their equipment, how much they know about saws, sometimes I will let them do that part. If they want, I'll give them the free part. But sometimes, depending on what it is, it's always at my discretion, dependent on the situation. Sometimes doing a more in-depth part by yourself will void the rest of your warranty. My service saws are 30 days, but the parts, any parts I replace are 1 year. Same deal. It's just 30 days instead of 90. All right, neighbors. Dear Jesus, please let this all start. Amen. Here we go. Okay, I primed it and choked it earlier. I primed it earlier, and it's on choke. Yeah, we've got it in the right position. It shouldn't be too hard because the carburetor should have had gas in it because I took it off of my personal saw that I use regularly. There's the pop already. Turn the choke off. Carnal sin, I forgot my carb tuning screwdriver, so I have to go get that. This saw's definitely not running right yet. And it died. So let me go get my carb screwdriver. Sorry, neighbors. Okay, here I am. Yeah, the saw definitely sounded like it was not getting very much power. I use Honda Bond for my gasket maker, and I have seen guys literally put a saw together and 20 minutes later run and cut with the saw with that shit. I ended up getting the gasket maker on about 3 hours ago, so that should have been enough time for it to cure enough to run the saw. So hopefully we didn't get a major air leak, but let's see if she'll fire back up. It seems like it's struggling to spin the chain here. I wonder if we're not getting oil. I mean, my chain's a little bit snug, but it's not that bad. Let's see here. I'm trying to think. Let's check our carb, where our carb setting's at. Quarter, half. Okay, so let's quarter, half, 3/4. Oh, why am I did I grab the wrong carburetor? You know what, neighbors? I must have grabbed the wrong fucking carburetor. This has got restrictors on it. I think I grabbed the wrong carb there. Might have to change that out. Yeah, this has got restrictors on it. I'll be damned. I don't know how I fucking managed that. Because I'm tired of shit, probably. Let me see something here. I don't want to lose that, so I'm going to take it out. It doesn't like the cloth air filter, but I definitely didn't grab the right carburetor. So I know I'm not going to fight with it. I got to go find the right carburetor because none of my saws, my personal saws, don't have restrictors on them. So I must have set it on the bench, and I had a few carburetors out. because again, some stuff's not interchangeable between the 192 and the 193 and the 194. And so I probably grabbed the wrong carburetor. But either way, no matter what, I would like the 180 as well. I just haven't been able to get one. Well, John, I have, I think, one 180 left that I'm going to build. I might have 2 motors. But as I said, neighbor, if you're in the market for a saw, you can get a hold of me. And I can work with you. Okay, neighbor? No fret. I do sometimes. I do accept payment plans sometimes. And it depends on the person, if they're a new customer, if they're local, if they're a regular customer, or if they're not local. Obviously, if a person's not local, they can basically lay away a saw with me, and I will let them make payments, and then when it's paid off, I'll send it to them. So we're going to go look on the bench real quick and figure out what we did about our carburetor situation. And then, Braden, like I said, no matter what, I'll have a running 192T for you. This has a 193 badge on it, but it's the 192 motor. Everything else is 193 except the motor. And they're the same motor, except the 193 is more restricted because of the EPA. I have to run it with that air filter for you. Let's see here. Okay, so that I think is my carburetor, actually. This is the one I built last night, I believe. Yeah, I think this is my carburetor. I remember what I did. I put that one on initially, and then I thought, wait a minute, I have tabs on my carburetor, but I don't. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and switch the carbs out, Braden, okay, and see if I can't fine-tune this baby in. Text me and let me know 100% for sure that you're coming, because, again, worst-case scenario, as long as you pay your bill, you can take my 192 with you, and I'm going to trust you. That's my baby. Don't fuck her up if that's what you have to take. So that's going to be it, neighbors. Thank you for the new people that are here. Welcome to the channel. Please go ahead and subscribe. This is a really good channel. It's not just chainsaws. We build stuff. We do a little bit of dog training here and there. We work on cars. We do plumbing. We do carpentry. We do shit with animals. All kinds of stuff, okay? And we do incidental audits where we have some videos where we just literally had run-ins with the police. And okay, Braden, thanks for the text that you're heading this way. Awesome. What time is it? It's 7:18. A little bit early. Good. Okay, so we have videos like that, and I actually have some more police footage coming up for you, and I am working to get the body cam footage, or the dash cam footage and body cam footage from when I was in Texas. And neighbors, I was just coming back from Mexico. I had gotten my crowns on my bottom, and already one of them's fallen out after just a few years. But basically, I'm in southern Texas, and I was part of a ministry. I led a very huge ministry. Well, I led it under the owner, and I was their maintenance guy and everything. And it was like 20 apartments and a massive gym, and another massive building with a kitchen and all kinds of stuff. And basically, I lost all of that. I had a vehicle there, a free apartment, everything, because of the arrest. So what happened is, the Texas State Police lit me up on the highway, 4-lane highway in the middle of rush hour traffic. And they said that initially they were pulling me over for failure to signal lane change, but I've seen the dash cam footage, and I didn't fail to signal lane change. But nonetheless, as soon as they lit me up, I turned my right turn signal on to start merging through traffic and pull over to the right. And it took me 1.2 miles to pull over. That's not very far when the speed limit's 80 miles an hour and it's 4 lanes going one way. So really, it's an 8-lane highway with a median. And I was ordered out of my vehicle at fucking gunpoint. Several cops ordered me out of my vehicle at fucking gunpoint. And my hat flies away, and you can see I was honestly terrified. I thought they was going to kill my ass. If I was black, they probably would have fucking shot me. It's Texas. Anyway, so I'm trying to get that dash cam footage for you, but it's a fucking nightmare. Those charges 3 years ago were dismissed with prejudice, but basically something happened. I pissed off the local DA here. That's a long story. I've talked about it on the channel and will do so in the future, but right now I've got to go and get Braden Saul taken care of. But essentially, I pissed off this DA, and the next day on a Saturday, allegedly, the district attorney from Cameron County, Texas, apparently on a Saturday, called here and told the sheriff's department to come arrest me because I had a warrant for my arrest for failure to appear and fleeing to elude, fugitive from justice. And I went to jail, and my uncle was in the hospital on a fucking respirator at the time, nearly died on me, and I'm the only one here to take care of him, and that was all a fucked up situation. But basically, Texas said they were going to extradite me, and they never did. Basically, my family said when they called the DA's office and stuff, they seemingly had no idea about any of this. But basically, after 8 days in jail, I was released and told that that Texas was not extraditing me. They had my name wrong on the arrest warrant. They had my date of birth wrong on the arrest warrant. The paperwork from the jail, even though I told them they had all the information wrong, when I got released, my paper that said I'm no longer a fugitive from justice in Tennessee, but I still have a warrant in Texas, has my name and date of birth wrong. So it's obviously some shady shit with our corrupt fucking police and our corrupt government and our corrupt fucking broken justice system. So if you have stumbled across this channel this early in the fucking morning, go ahead and subscribe, neighbors. Like this video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, go watch some other videos, and consider becoming a member. We've got memberships for just $3.99 a month, and we've got memberships Loyalty Plus for $7.99 a month. Okay, and we've also got merchandise. This is one of the t-shirts I've designed. It says #persevere, and then on the back, I don't know if you can see, you probably can't, it's upside down, but basically it says you only fail if you quit. And I'll have Hey Neighbors t-shirts, and I have I Know My Rights t-shirts, and Know Your Rights t-shirts, and other merchandise with that same text on it, like mugs and phone cases and stuff. And so you can check out my store as well. So until next time, neighbors, be kind to one another. Everyone is facing a battle. We're all facing battles. If you are new here and you've never seen me before, this is what I say at the end of all my videos. Be kind to one another. Life is hard for all of us, and everybody has their own battles and their own issues, and a lot of people struggle with depression, anxiety, and might be in a position where they want to take their life. And a lot of times, just because you might have a bad day, or you might not like that you had to wait in line at Walmart, and you take it out on the clerk, and they've been having a bad life, and that could be the final straw that just makes them go home and take their life. Literally, it happens a lot. Every 20 seconds in this country, I think it is, a veteran kills themselves, and I think it's like every 3 seconds somewhere in the country somebody commits suicide. Okay, and I don't know if those two correlate together or they're separate statistics, but that's the statistics. You can Google that shit and look it up. Okay, so be kind to one another. Everyone's facing a battle, and I say I love all you neighbors, but I say even though I suck at it, because I don't give a shit what you believe. I just want to love my neighbors and bring kindness back to the world. What Jesus said in the Bible about how we should treat each other is fucking beautiful. Okay, and so we should live by that. And 1 Corinthians 13 gives us a definition of love. And I suck at loving people. Everybody does according to that definition. So I just say that I'm going to keep on trying to fucking love you better. So that's it, neighbors. #persevere. Until next time.